Hello, I am Mika Hayashi, a communicator in urological health and male wellness and maturity. Many know me here on the channel as Dr. Mika Hayashi because I have dedicated years to calmly and openly explaining what is rarely discussed in consultations: the truth about size, circulation, and habits that can support or sabotage your intimate health. Today, we are going to delve into a topic that generates a lot of curiosity: bicarbonate, that white powder you have in the kitchen that your grandmother used for 1,000 things. Now it appears in viral videos promising miracles for your size and potency. And I want that by the end of this video, when you hear the phrase "use bicarbonate this way" and see what happens to your size, you can smile with peace of mind because you will know exactly what is true, what is a myth, and how to use it responsibly to take care of your body instead of harming it. For years, the idea has been perpetuated that there is a right trick, a perfect cocktail, a mysterious homemade recipe capable of changing your size as if the body were made of clay. There are talks of baths, massages, mixtures with lemon, vinegar, baking soda, as if the intimate tissue were a balloon that simply inflates more. But the human body doesn't work that way. Size is determined by genetics, hormones, and early life development, not by what you apply at 50 or the powder you take at 60. What can change, and significantly, is the way that tissue fills with blood, the quality of your erections, your confidence, and your vitality. And this is where habits, including some uses of baking soda, can indirectly influence, although never in the exaggerated way it has been sold to you. I want to start by clarifying something with complete honesty. There is no serious evidence that baking soda alone permanently increases size. There is no baking soda cream, no baking soda bath, nor any miracle drink with baking soda that changes the structure of your intimate tissue. What does exist is a dangerous mix of marketing, desperation, and misinformation that exploits your insecurity. Why does this narrative work so well? Because size remains a topic loaded with shame, comparison, and silence. Many men believe they are below average when in fact they are within the normal range. And when someone appears promising more size with a very cheap ingredient like baking soda, the temptation to believe is enormous. My role today is to help you regain control, not to sell you another trick. Before getting into how to use it, I need you to understand what baking soda really is. Baking soda is a well-known salt in cooking with alkaline properties. It is used for baking because it releases gas and makes dough rise in the body. Its classic medical use is as an antacid in specific situations to neutralize excess acidity in the stomach. It has also been used in a hospital context to correct very specific pH imbalances in the blood, always under supervision. In the sports world, it has been studied as a buffer that helps neutralize some of the acidity produced by intense effort. In other words, bicarbonate is far from being a magic powder. It is a specific chemical tool with defined uses, potential benefits, and clear risks when abused. Now, what does this have to do with your intimate health and size? Here comes the interesting part. Male intimate response depends primarily on your blood circulation, nerve function, and hormonal state. Everything that improves the health of your blood vessels, your blood pressure, your metabolism, and your background inflammation can promote firmer erections and better expansion of what you already have. It doesn't grow, but it expresses itself better. And everything that sabotages that circulation, such as excess salt, uncontrolled hypertension, a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, and tobacco, reduces that filling capacity. What about bicarbonate? Used naively or excessively, it can contribute a lot of sodium, affect your pressure, and overload your kidneys and heart. In other words, if misused, it can go against what you are looking for: healthy circulation and solid, intimate vitality. I want you to imagine a 65-year-old man, let's call him Ernesto. He watches a video where they promise that if he takes bicarbonate on an empty stomach for a month, his size will increase and his performance will be like when he was 20. He doesn't get informed. He doesn't ask questions. He simply copies the recipe, a large tablespoon in water every morning. After a few weeks, he starts experiencing digestive discomfort, bloating, occasional nausea, but he endures it because he believes it's part of the process. After a while, he notices something more concerning. He feels more bloated. His blood pressure rises a bit, and he sleeps worse. His intimate function, instead of improving, becomes more irregular. What happened? He didn't change his size, but he did alter his internal balance. More sodium, more strain on the cardiovascular system, more general discomfort. His body is speaking to him, but he continues to chase a result that science never promised. In contrast, I want to introduce you to another man. Let's call him Luis, who is 58 years old. He also hears about bicarbonate, but he decides to use it wisely, not as a trick for size, but as part of a more comprehensive care approach. He sometimes uses it in the kitchen to reduce the acidity of certain dishes, keeps consumption within reasonable limits, and above all understands that his true remedy is to improve his circulation, walking daily, managing his weight, reducing ultra-processed foods, handling stress, and building his confidence with his partner. Louise might try a warm bath with a pinch of baking soda to relieve mild skin irritations in the genital area or groin, without applying it directly to the penis, without rubbing aggressively, without believing that it will change the size. He uses baking soda as a gentle support for the skin, not as a body reshaping tool. And that's where the product returns to its place, an aid, not a protagonist. Now let's talk about the most common uses of baking soda related to the intimate area and what it can or cannot provide. A frequent use is sitz baths with warm water and a small amount of baking soda to relieve superficial irritations, chafing, or mild discomfort on the external skin. In some men with intense sweating or sensitive skin, this can help neutralize odors and reduce the feeling of itchiness. It is important to clarify something. These baths act on the skin, not on the deep tissue or internal blood vessels. They do not modify structures, nor do they enlarge anything. What they can do is improve comfort. And when you feel more comfortable, cleaner and fresher, your confidence improves. And when confidence rises, your perception of your own size and performance also changes. Another key point is the use of baking soda orally. This is where you need to be especially cautious. Yes, small amounts of well-measured baking soda taken occasionally can relieve occasional gastric acidity, but turning it into a daily remedy or a ritual to enhance size is a mistake. Every teaspoon you take adds sodium. In a mature man who often already has a tendency toward hypertension, edema, or kidney problems, this can tip the balance in the wrong direction. More pressure, more vascular stiffness, more risk for intimate circulation. Exactly the opposite of what you need to achieve solid and healthy erections. Using baking soda as if it were a male tonic completely confuses its role in the body. Now I want us to look at the topic of size from a different, more realistic, and more liberating angle. When a man says he wants to increase his size, many times what he really wants is to feel more secure, more capable, more confident in his intimate response. What he is looking for is not a change in centimeters, but a change in experience. Fewer failures, less fear, more stability. And here comes something very important. If your circulation is functioning well, your blood pressure is reasonably controlled, your sugar levels are in good shape, and your nervous system is not overwhelmed by stress, your intimate tissue feels better with blood and stays firm for longer. What does baking soda have to do with this? More than you think, but not because it increases it, rather because its misuse can sabotage that circulatory health that you need so much. Think of your body as a delicate system seeking balance. The pH of your blood, for example, is maintained within a very narrow range. The body has sophisticated mechanisms to achieve this: lungs, kidneys, internal buffers. When someone promises you that alkalizing your body with baking soda will solve all your problems, including intimate potency, they are grossly oversimplifying something very complex. You don't need to fix your blood pH with spoonfuls of powder. What you mostly need is to sleep better, move more, eat with less salt and less sugar, quit smoking, drink enough water, manage stress, and, if necessary, adjust medications with a professional. Those are the real tricks that favor your functional size, the ability for what you already have to express itself at its maximum potential. Now, how to use baking soda responsibly without turning it into a silent enemy of your circulation. First, respect it. It is not a candy. It is not an innocent supplement. It is a chemical tool with real power. If you use it as an antacid, do so occasionally and following the product's instructions, not improvising giant doses you saw on the internet. If you have hypertension, kidney disease, heart failure, or are taking specific medications, always consult before using it orally. If you want to use it on the skin, do so in moderate dilutions in water, without applying it directly to the most sensitive tissue and without rubbing aggressively. Think of soothing baths, not enlargement therapies. And if you notice irritation, persistent redness, or discomfort, stop using it. Now, I want to tell you the story of Martin, a 62-year-old man who came to the consultation and has authorized me to share his experience anonymously, completely convinced that his problem was about size. He had tried everything: exercises, massages, homemade recipes with baking soda, lemon, and other mixtures that had left his skin irritated. When I asked him what worried him the most, he didn't talk about centimeters. He spoke of fear of failure, of his partner's gaze, of a recent time when he couldn't achieve a stable erection and was trapped in shame. In our exploration, we found high blood pressure, a sedentary lifestyle, poor quality sleep, and extremely high stress levels. His size was not the problem. His circulatory system and mind did need help. We completely set aside the recipes with baking soda and worked on walking daily, adjusting the medication for blood pressure, improving rest, and opening a space for communication with his partner. Months later, his size was still the same, but his erections were much firmer. And above all, his confidence had completely changed. That is the lesson I want to leave you with when we talk about what happens with your size. What can really happen if you start using baking soda wisely and focus on overall health is that your self-perception changes. You stop looking for miracles in the pantry and start building results in your arteries, in your heart, in your mind. You can continue using baking soda in the kitchen as an ally for home cleaning, even in gentle baths for the skin. But you will no longer see it as a magic shortcut, but as just another tool within a care routine. There is another aspect I don't want to leave out: trust in the partner. Many men start to experience normal age-related changes, erections that take a little longer, slower recovery, less automatic responses, and instead of talking about it, they isolate themselves, look for quick solutions online, expose themselves to dangerous advice, and undergo practices that not only don't help, but can damage the skin, alter the local flora, or irritate the intimate area. Using bicarbonate indiscriminately can dry out, disrupt the skin's balance, and increase unpleasant sensitivity. Imagine the scene. You're looking to improve your performance and end up with discomfort from the simple touch of your underwear. That's not the way. Sometimes the most powerful gesture you can have for your intimate health is to tell your partner, "I'm noticing changes. I want to take better care of myself. I would like us to talk about it together." It is also important to mention that vitality and maturity does not depend on a single product, but on a symphony of factors. Your blood circulation benefits from a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, quality proteins, and low in ultra-processed foods. Your hormonal balance is better sustained when you get enough sleep, manage stress, and avoid excessive alcohol. Your nerves and intimate response are strengthened when you maintain curiosity, affection, playfulness, and emotional connection. Baking soda does not replace any of this. No powder does. But when you take the helm of your well-being, all those pieces start to align. And what you see in the mirror is no longer just size, it's presence, it's confidence, it's calm. At this point, you might be wondering then, is it worth using baking soda? Or should I remove it from my life? My answer is simple. It is worth using it with respect for what it is truly intended for, and stop burdening it with expectations that do not belong to it. You can have it in your kitchen. Use it occasionally to relieve mild acidity as long as your health allows it, or for gentle baths on the skin when there is superficial irritation. But do not make it the center of your strategy to improve your intimate health. For that, you have much better allies. Walk for half an hour a day, check your blood pressure, monitor your glucose, maintain a healthy weight, quit smoking, drink enough water, and, if necessary, talk to a healthcare professional who can guide you with appropriate tests and evidence-based treatments. I want to close this meeting with you with a clear and direct statement. Your real size is not in the bicarbonate. It is in your circulation, in your habits, and above all, in your confidence. It is never too late to regain vitality and maturity, to strengthen your intimate response, and to feel more fulfilled in your body. But the path does not involve miraculous shortcuts. It requires conscious, sustained, and respectful decisions for your body. If today you decide to leave behind empty promises and start taking care of your health from the root, you are already taking a gigantic step, much bigger than any centimeter promised in a video. If this message made you think, if you feel it deflated some myths, but at the same time ignited a new hope, I invite you to reflect on your own habits, to observe what you are doing each day for your circulation and your intimate well-being. Share this content with a friend who is trapped in miracle recipes or who feels insecure about their size. Sometimes hearing a calm and honest explanation is the best gift. And if you want to continue learning, delving deeper, and taking care of your intimate health with clear information, I invite you to subscribe and join me in the upcoming meetings. Here, we will continue to talk with respect and without taboos about what truly sustains your vitality and maturity.